Hola clase, hoy vamos a repasar cómo conjugar un verbo. Today we're going to review how you conjugate a verb in the present tense and it being a regular verb. First of all, you need to remember what a verb is. Verbs, just like in English, are actions. To talk, to study, to live, to eat, to run, to skip, to dance. In Spanish, all verbs in the infinitive form, that's the to do something, the to talk, to study, to walk, end with either AR, ER, or IR. So there are three types of verbs in Spanish: AR, ER, and IR. If you see a word in Spanish that ends with those letter combinations, you know that it is the infinitive form of the verb, the to do something. So now that we know what a verb means, what in the world does conjugate mean? Conjugate means to change or to modify the verb in order to match the subject, whatever noun is actually doing the action. We do this in English, or you do this in your first language without even thinking about it. I walk, he walks. I am, you are, she is. Those are verb conjugations. In Spanish, we have to first remove the infinitive ending. Remember, that's the AR, ER, or IR. And then put on a different ending based upon the noun doing the action. So verbs in Spanish actually have two parts. You have the stem, which you see in blue, and you have the ending, which you see in red. And remember that right now is in the infinitive form, so it's the AR, ER, or IR. So, what is the stem of estudiar? Hopefully you said estudi. Be careful on this one. Oftentimes students will forget to include the I with the stem. Remember, you are only taking off the infinitive ending, which is the AR. Everything else before that is the stem. As you have been learning Spanish, you have seen verb charts like this. Okay? And you notice that you have your singular pronouns, yo, tú, él, ella, usted, and you have your plural pronouns, nosotros, nosotras, vosotros or vosotras, which we are not holding you responsible for, ellos, ellas, and ustedes. Verbs are like flowers. You have to start at the bottom, the stem. You add your ending as it grows, and that gets you your conjugated verb. So if you think about it in this form, you can remember stem, verb, conjugated form of the verb. Might be a visual that can help you. So we have a verb chart. This is a blank one except for the subject pronouns. If you don't remember what these subject pronouns mean, I highly recommend you go back and learn them because they don't ever go away. Okay? So the first step, if you ever have to conjugate a verb, is to write down the stem of the verb. So we're going to start practicing with the verb cantar. Remember, cantar means to sing, like a cantor at some places of worship sings songs, or maybe you think, well, I can't sing a song. So what is the stem of cantar? Remember, you're just taking off the infinitive ending, the AR, and you write down CANT for your stem. Then you have your endings. Okay? Your o, as, a, amos, an for your AR verbs. Notice all of the A's. Okay? For ER verbs, just change those A's to the letter E. O, es, e, emos, en. And the only difference between ER verbs and IR verbs is that for the nosotros form in IR verbs, it is IMOS. So, o, es, e, imos, en. Okay? So once you learn your AR endings, then just switch those A's to E's, and you have all your ERs, and make that one little switch between ER and IR in the nosotros form, and you've got it. Some of you may remember this song from last year. O, as, a, amos, an. Otra vez. Okay? So I would encourage you, especially if verb conjugating is not your strongest suit, is to go back to the regular PowerPoint and find this song and play it over and over. It gets you the endings in order, has you practicing conjugations with it. Once again, here are your endings because you're going to be using them. So we have the verb chart. Okay? And you are going to need to write in the stem and your endings for the verb cantar. So take a moment. You can pause the video if you need to. Fill in your stems for the verb cantar, which remember means to sing. So you should have cant in all of the boxes. Then we need to put on our verb endings. So go ahead and fill in the yo form of the verb. So yo canto, I sing. Do the to form. Tú cantas, you, the informal you, sing. Él canta, he sings. Ella canta, she sings. Usted canta, you formal sing. So those are your singular ones. O, as, a. For your plural side, nosotros, nosotras cantamos. Okay? Same ending. Vosotros, you do not have to learn for us. And then ellos, ustedes, if you notice the pattern in the singular form of all three of them being the same, they're going to be the same over in the plural side as well. So, ellos cantan, ellas cantan, ustedes cantan. O, as, a, amos, an. Now let's do the same thing with an ER verb, the verb comer, to eat. Take a moment, pause the video, and fill in your stem. Pause it now. Okay, hopefully you wrote in the stem of com, C-O-M, for all of the verbs. Next, you're going to have to put on your verb endings. Once again, feel free to pause the video while you write down your verb endings. Again, you should have yo como. The yo form is the same in AR, ER, and IR. Tú comes. Remember, the AR verb, it was AS. ER verbs, you change those A's to E's. So tú comes with an ES. Él, ella, y usted, he, she, and you formal, you're adding the same thing, the letter E. So él come, ella come, usted come. Once again, our A's from the AR verb become E's for an ER verb. Nosotros, nosotras, same ending. It's an ER verb, so of course we have chosen EMOS, hemos. Nosotros comemos, nosotras comemos. Ellos, ellas, ustedes. Remember our pattern in the singular form where they were all the same ending? Same thing's going to happen in the plural side of things. Ellos comen, ellas comen, ustedes comen. And once again, with an ER verb, our A's from AR verb conjugations become E's. So, o, es, hemos, en. Now let's do our third form, which is an IR verb, vivir, to live. Okay? So once again, you're going to write down the stem. Feel free to pause the video as you are doing so. And hopefully you all wrote down vive, V-I-V. Okay? All we had to do was take off the IR. Now remember, as you are going to write in the conjugations, that an IR verb is conjugated very much like an ER verb, except the nosotros form. So if you need to, pause the video while you write in the conjugations. Hopefully you wrote in yo vivo, once again, yo form, same conjugation ending, the O. Tú vives, so you live. Él, ella, and usted are all vive. Nosotros, nosotras are both vivimos. Remember, it's an IR verb, so it is IMOS. That's the only difference between ER and IR in the present tense. And then ellos, ellas, ustedes are all the same, just like they were in the singular form. So ellos viven, ellas viven, ustedes viven. Para practicar, you are going to do 3 more verbs: bailar, beber, escribir. Do the same procedure where you write in the stem, then put on your ending. Pay close attention to whether you are doing an AR verb, an ER verb, or an IR verb. And our first one is bailar. So go ahead, pause the video, create your chart, write in the stem and the endings. So hopefully your chart that you filled in while the video was paused looks like this. Yo bailo, tú bailas, él, ella, usted baila, nosotros, nosotras bailamos, ellos, ellas, ustedes bailan. You're going to do the same thing for the verb beber. Remember, this is an ER verb. So you're going to make your verb chart with your subject pronouns. You're going to write in the stem, and then you're going to put in the endings. Once you've done that, unpause the video. So your work should be done, and you should have a chart that looks like this. Yo bebo, tú bebes, él, ella, usted bebe, nosotros, nosotras bebemos, ellos, ellas, ustedes beben. Remember all of those A's from our AR verb bailar, those A's in the ending, the O, as, a, amos, an, all became E's. O, es, hemos, en. And we're going to do one more, the verb escribir, which is an IR verb. Remember where an IR verb and an ER verb differ. So fill in your chart, and once you have done that, restart the video. So hopefully your chart looks like this. Yo escribo, tú escribes, él, ella, usted escribe, nosotros, nosotras escribimos, ellos, ellos, ustedes escriben. Remember, escribir means to write. I always think of the word scribble or the word scribe. Both have roots to write. And remember, beber meant to drink, and bailar, of course, is to dance. Bailar is kind of like ballet. Beber is kind of like a beverage. And escribir, kind of like scribe or scribble. Now, vamos a practicar más. We're going to practice some more, this time with sentences. So you're not just filling in a chart. Being able to do a chart is the first step, but then you actually have to be able to use these verbs. So, we're going to start with English to Spanish. I want you to write down what it says on the screen, and then I want you to translate what those sentences mean. Once you have done that, restart the video or unpause the video and check your answers. So, ¿cómo se dice yo hablo? Número 2, ¿cómo se dice él vive? Número 3, ¿cómo se dice ellos comen? Número 4, ¿cómo se dice nosotras vivimos? Y número 5, ¿cómo se dice tú bailas? Go ahead and pause the video, write down your answers, and then unpause it. To check your answers, you should have yo hablo is I talk. Él vive, he lives. Él vive en Urbandale. He lives in Urbandale. Ellos comen. They, and it's either a group of guys or a mixed gender group, they eat. Nosotras vivimos, we live. Nosotras vivimos in Urbandale. Tú bailas, you, and it's the informal you, dance. So that was Spanish to English. Now let's see if you can do the flip side. English to Spanish. So, ¿cómo se dice she studies? ¿Cómo se dice we, and it's a mixed gender, a masculine group, we eat? ¿Cómo se dice you talk, and you're doing the formal you? Número 9, ¿cómo se dice they live, and it's a group of girls? Y número 10, ¿cómo se dice you all study? Once again, pause your video while you write down the answers, and then unpause it to check your work. So let's see how you did. Número 6, she studies. Ella estudia. Número 7, we, masculine, eat. Nosotros comemos. Número 8, you, formal, talk. Usted habla. Número 9, they, feminine, live. Ellas viven. Y número 10, you all study. Ustedes estudian. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out and ask for help. Learning to do verb conjugations opens up so many opportunities for you.